चक्षुरुं मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So today we are going to discuss a little topic called, this is from a workshop conducted by Radhesham Prabhu many years ago. I attended this, it was a very nice one, and the topic is making a paradigm shift to swim upstream and attract grace. And in other words, be proactive and not reactive. So in the title there is this word called swim upstream. What does that mean, swim upstream? Means
opposite flow of water.
Yes, opposite, which is very difficult. Which is actually how we struggle against our own habits, our own attitudes. It's difficult, you have to go against, because from childhood, from the environment, from the situation, etc., we are all used to acting in a certain way, talking in a certain way, behaving in a certain way, thinking in a certain way. And to go against that, when we become devotees, then we realize, oh, there are so many things I have to change about myself, so many things I have to improve, so many things. But it's not easy. And so, but as the title says, when we really take that effort to go against, to really start changing ourselves from within, really put effort, which is difficult, then we attract Krishna's grace. And that is what Krishna likes to see. And that is one of the main ways we get Krishna's grace in our life. Because we all have different capacities to do things for Krishna. We have different, if Krishna put a standard, like only those who can do as much service as Hanuman can come to me, then finish. Nobody can compare Hanuman. But Krishna's standard is very simple. If you are sincerely working on your own heart, you're sincerely doing your seva, you're sincerely doing, you're just really putting an effort, that's it. Then we'll attract Krishna's grace. So in this, there are 4 aspects. I don't know how much we'll actually be able to do, but the 4 things in what this workshop talks about is, I'll just tell you the 4. The first one is called self-awareness, to just be fully aware of how I'm thinking, etc. Second one is to know that we have a choice in every situation. No situation is forced upon us, or we can never say, "Arey, ye to hona hi tha." True, but we have a choice to respond. Third one is how to become proactive in our life and not reactive, to be proactive. And finally, it talks about a very nice concept called circle of concern versus circle of influence. This is from many management books also talk about this very popular concept. Okay, so let's begin with the first one. Maybe let's do the first one today, which is also very important, which is called self-awareness. So if I say this word, what does it mean to you? What do you think this means? Self-awareness. What does that mean?
To know who we are.
Very nice. To know who we are, and in what ways can we know who we are?
By being mindful.
Okay, being mindful. Okay. Yes, by being mindful. What else? How else? Yeah, many, all right answers, and many aspects to this self-awareness. How else?
Like to constantly keep watch on like what we are thinking, how we are saying, and what we are saying, what we are eating, everything.
very nice.
Mm.
To keep a constant watch or eye, or yes, you're right. To be aware of how I'm thinking, you said, that's very important. How many of you think that you know what you're thinking? Which is not very easy sometimes, right? It's because we don't pause to think that, hey, why am I thinking like this? Is this the right thing to think? Or especially when we go through situations in our life and emotions come up in our heart, maybe anger, maybe whatever emotions, the ability to pause and just think that I'm angry. Okay, how many of you think you can at least identify the emotion you're going through, which is also a big thing, right? To just be able to know that I'm angry, that's also big, because we just go in the flow and we don't even know, okay, I'm experiencing anger. In fact, I was attending in my child's school, she's in kindergarten, but nowadays they have a lot of emotional science they are starting to teach to the kids, and one of the things they teach them is how to label your emotion. And they say even the adults, if we are just able to put a label on our emotion, it's a very big thing, because you will automatically already you're starting to take control of yourself, of your mind. So to just in any situation we are in, just to be able to say, oh, I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling regret, I'm feeling guilt, I'm feeling whatever, I'm feeling joy, I'm feeling etc. But so self-awareness primarily means the ability to be able to step out of our mental situation, right? Our mind creates a situation which is making us think in a particular direction or do whatever we are doing, right? But the ability to just pause and take a step back and to be able to look at ourselves and say, oh, this is what I'm thinking, this is why I'm thinking, maybe this is what's happened, etc. That is self-awareness. And this is a very important step towards change. Only when we are self-aware, then we can change, right? Otherwise, how will we know what to change or when to change or how to change? And the greatest blessing of self-awareness is it gives us a lot of control of that situation, actually, much more. Because it's true, so many things happen to us from the external, people are going to do what they're going to do, different situations, we can't control anything. The only thing we can control is, what's the one thing we have control over?
Our reaction.
Correct. We only have control over ourselves. And if we can, and the surprising thing is, when we actually control ourselves, we start actually controlling everything else, and you will see that. That's how it actually works. We try to do it the other way. Why I can't control this person? How did this happen to me? As we lose control. We immediately, okay, this person said this. Okay, it's making me feel upset. Why am I feeling upset? What is this? Of course, now I'm describing it very slow motion, but it's a very quick process. Immediately we can come to control our emotions, etc. And this self-awareness only will, as I said before, allow us to start knowing. One is to know what we have to change. Second is to know, okay, what I need to do to make that change. And third is then to actually do it. But without self-awareness, none of these things will happen. Okay. So now, let me read. Okay, now you have to do a little thinking. So I'm going to read a little paragraph from the life of Ajamil. Do you all know who this Ajamil character was? Very popular character. So I'll tell you in brief his very dramatic life. So Ajamil was a very nice Brahman boy, born in a very pious family, with the perfect samskars, with the perfect education, he himself was a very good gentleman. He was perfect son, perfect student, perfect everything. And he was very nicely married, doing all his duties, everything perfect. Like he was a exemplary role model kind of person. And one day, So such a person is, usually we expect this person to have a certain kind of behavior and a certain kind of thinking, and I'm sure you also know people like that who are very good in everything, and usually their life is very nice and clean and simple and happy. And Ajamil one day, so he's having his life like this, as I described, everything perfect, does everything, everyone is happy with him, everyone knows. He's just gone to the forest one day, he's cutting wood to bring back home to light the fire. He's cutting wood, and suddenly from the corner of his eye he sees at a little distance there is a man and a prostitute, and the scene is not a very good scene, and suddenly he sees it and he looks at it and just starts cutting. It's like, why are these people doing this? But that image gets recorded in his mind very deeply. He gets a little disturbed, he goes home, and night his wife is there, everything, and still he's doing everything, but that image starts playing more and more and more and more. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes the danger of these things. Krishna says the shloka in the second chapter, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsam Sangasteshu Pujayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Samoha Samohat Smriti Brahma Smriti Bhamshan Buddhi Nasho Buddhi Nashat Pranashyati. Krishna is giving a cycle of what happens in these situations. Then it was just started with a thought, and he somehow couldn't let go of that thought. And finally what happens now, that thought becomes so crazy in his mind. This man, imagine, this is the person I just described, from wonderful family, everything perfect, and suddenly now he decides, I'm going to marry the prostitute. Such a crazy, you won't even expect, you can expect such behavior from someone who already has that kind of life, but such a person. And he throws out his wife, kicks out his parents, goes to the prostitute, gets married, and starts living the most sinful, crazy life. And he becomes, to maintain himself, he becomes a highway robber. He stands at night, and whoever's going by highway robs him. That's how he's, from where to where? Someone who was such a good person, and now he lives his whole life. I'm telling you the story in very short. In Bhagavatam there are many details about his life. And then he has 10 children with this prostitute, and now he's become very old. He's 80 years old, and he still has a young child. And the youngest boy he loves very much, and he decides to name him Narayan. And one day he's 80 years old, he's sitting on his bed, he's almost about to die. He's coughing mucus, and the little boy is still crawling around. And at that point, suddenly, inside the room, 4 very dangerous looking people come inside. And they've got a dog, and they've got ropes in their hand, and they've got a whip, and they're all horrible looking, very big, very ugly teeth, and their red eyes, and with anger they start beating him, and he doesn't know what's going on. Who are these people? And in that confusion, he doesn't know who to call, and he calls Narayan, his son. That's the only thing he remembers. Narayan, Narayan. He starts loudly, and because he calls Narayan, suddenly 4 more people come from the other side, who are very beautiful, who are dressed, who are Vishnu forms with 4 hands and mukut, and they're almost like Krishna but with 4 hands, but with and they're holding Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, very beautiful. And they stop these other 3 or 4 people from taking, and a conversation starts between the Vishnu Dutas and the Yamadutas. Actually, they were. And in this conversation, they're discussing what to do with this man. And these 4 people are saying this. They list his entire life of sin. And Ajamil is hearing this whole thing, and he's thinking, oh my God, this is the life I lived. And they give the whole account. And then the Vishnu Dutas reply. They say only one thing, but at the end of his life, he took our name, so we've come to protect him. You all live. And they all go. And after this scene, now I'm going to read to you in the Bhagavatam, now what happens in Ajamil's mind, what he starts thinking. So just hear this. It's very beautiful. So this is an example of great self-awareness and change. Because even in this situation, see, we can say, in a sense, why would the Vishnu Dutas have to come? They should have said, Jane to isko narak mein, kaisa ganda aadmi tha ye. Correct. What a bad life he lived. But they still came. So that is one thing, that nobody is hopeless. No matter what situation we are in, no matter how, whatever we are, Krishna always gives us a chance. Knowing that, he understands that the material world is a very difficult place. And we have been here for millions of lives. There's so much we have gone through. Krishna has that compassion upon us. And so, but to make a real change in our life, we need a certain kind of self-awareness. And so I'll read to you what Ajamil is now thinking. Okay. See how he thinks. Okay. After hearing the discourse between the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas, Ajamil could understand the religious principles that act under the three modes. Because they had a long conversation actually, it was a long argument. Because the Yamadutas could not understand why you're stopping us. We just gave you a big list of all his pap ka pura list, and now you're telling us. So they had a long conversation. Ajamil also understood so many things. These principles are mentioned in the Vedas. He could also understand the transcendental religious principles which are above the modes of nature, which concern the relationship between the Jiva and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Furthermore, Ajamil heard glorification of the name, fame, qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He thus became a perfectly pure devotee. He could then remember his past sinful activities, which he greatly regretted having performed. Now see how he thinks. Ajamil thought, alas, being a servant of my senses, how degraded I became. I fell down from my position as a duly qualified Brahmana and begot children in the womb of a prostitute. Alas, I acted so sinfully that I degraded my family tradition. I gave up my chaste, beautiful young wife. I was accustomed to drinking wine. My father and mother were old and no son or friend to look after them, but I did not take care of them. They lived with great difficulty. Alas, like a low-class man, I ungratefully left them in that condition. It is now clear that as a consequence of such activities, a sinful person like me must be thrown into hellish conditions meant for those who have broken religious principles. Was this a dream I saw, or was it reality? I saw fearsome men with ropes in their hands coming to arrest me and drag me away. Where have they gone? And where have those four liberated and beautiful persons gone who released me and saved me from being dragged down to the hellish regions? I am certainly the most unfortunate and immersed in an ocean of sinful activities. But because of my previous spiritual activity, I could see those four exalted personalities who came to rescue me. Now I feel exceedingly happy because of their visit. Were it not for my past devotional service, how could I, a most unclean keeper of a prostitute, have gotten an opportunity to chant the holy name of Narayan? Certainly it was not possible. I am a shameless cheater who has killed his Brahmanical culture. I am sin personified. Where am I in comparison to the all auspicious chanting of the holy name of Narayan? I am such a sinful person, but since I have now gotten this opportunity, I must completely control my mind, my life, my senses, and always engage in devotional service so that I may not fall again into the deep darkness of ignorance. So he goes on like this, and then he says finally, in Haridwar, Ajamil took shelter at a Vishnu temple where he executed the process of Bhakti Yoga. Ajamil fully engaged in devotional service, detached his mind and his intelligence fixed. And then, at the end of his life finally, again the same four Vishnu Dutas come and they take him back to God. Okay, so now I have a question for you. In one word, how would you describe this mood or mindset or attitude of Ajamil? Think about how he was in that moment. What word would you give him?
Self-reflecting.
Self-reflecting, very nice. Anything else? Any other word you thought of?
I was going to say introspection, but that means
Very nice, correct. Very introspective. Okay. Anything else?
regret.
Regret, very important. Yes, he because that's a very important part of change. Has to be a regret, not a depressing regret, but a healthy regret. Okay. Anything else? Okay.
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Yes, true. At that moment, he then experienced. Yes, sometimes it takes, because he had a lot of knowledge. Like sometimes we do, we have a lot of knowledge. But to apply that knowledge, it doesn't happen all the time. But sometimes situations come like this one, which is a life and death situation, then enlightenment happens. Yes, then everything becomes clear. Okay.
It was determination also. After that, after he saw
Okay.
those four
Correct.
Vishnu Dutas,
Correct.
he got like, I should, do something good and
Yes.
reach them.
Very true. Determination, because not that he said, "Chalo, ho gaya, back to my own thing." Sometimes we do like that. No. Okay. What caused the paradigm shift in his life? Correct. He had a total paradigm shift from living like this. Suddenly now he goes to Haridwar, becomes a devotee. Really. What all do you think caused that change?
He actually saw the power of Krishna's devotee.
Very nice. So one is he had a
Power of name.
experience
Narayan.
he fully experienced Krishna, he fully experienced, so he had a very strong spiritual experience. Very true. He saw the power of spiritual life. What else? What else caused his change?
So someone already revised all his karmas.
Yes.
So that is also like summarizing how was your life.
Correct, that's a good point, because sometimes we think I'm not such a bad person, but someone comes and tells you, "Hey, you have done this, then we realize, yeah, because we kind of live sometimes in the best version of ourselves. Only we know how great we are. Everyone else thinks this person is so bad, unfortunately.
See, had I been there, and if I see that discourse between Vishnu Dut and
Yeah.
Yamdut, then I realize, oh, that really exists.
Yes, that's true.
That is
we don't
really
even
there.
know. We don't even know what's actually going to
Yeah.
happen. That's true.
Getting another
And-
chance, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Actually, that's the title of this whole pastime is called Second Chance. That he, at least he was lucky. Many of us may not even get a second chance. Who gets a second chance to live his life again and try it? But yes, that's true. To another paradigm shift, as he was saying, was just someone actually told him, "This is all you've done." Then you really realize that where I am, I'm not in a great situation. Anything else which changed his paradigm shift?
He saw the Lord's mercy.
Yes, absolutely. He saw the Lord's mercy, Lord's compassion. Because after they listed everything, still he got saved. Like he himself was thinking, "I deserve to go to hell."
Yeah.
He said, "I but I was saved." So yes, when you
Fear.
see,
Fear.
yeah, the fear was there, and when actually it's a good point. When we actually experience the Lord's mercy, we feel grateful and we feel humble. We won't feel, and the right mood is when we feel I don't deserve it. Like he was thinking it. He kept thinking I don't deserve it. He didn't. At no point in his thoughts did we hear him say, "But I was a very good Brahmin. So okay, thoda years I went little astray. So what?" He didn't think like that. He didn't. At any point, he didn't justify what he did. Right? We didn't hear him say, "Yes, the Vishnu Dutas came because of my past." He said, "I was so sinful. I was so this, and only because maybe little prayer I did, thankfully they counted that prayer and they came for me. So I'm so grateful." So that's another. So all these are important learnings for us if we want to make a paradigm shift in our life. This is how we really have to do it. We will have to have all these qualities, have this kind of thinking, not justifying anything, not giving any excuse, not giving any, like his statement was so humble, right? It was so honest, so clear, and that is what is being able to cause this paradigm shift. Okay, one more question for you. In your experience, do you know anybody, or your own, have you or anybody gone through some kind of paradigm shift in life? Where their life was going in one direction, but suddenly something happened and it completely changed. Of course, in a sense, we are all an example, because we were all not in spiritual life, but we've come into spiritual life. That is a big paradigm shift. Right? It's not easy. It's not a normal thing to come to spiritual life. But anything else?
One example I know. So there was one uncle. He was normal guy. Like we used to, live life before. So eating non-veg and that's normal thing
Yeah.
in few caste in India. So, but when he got ISKCON devotee, he got initiated also just because of his wife.
Okay.
So his wife, after they got married, they had a son. Then she became devotee, and later on, all the family started going to ISKCON, and ISKCON changes everything.
Yeah.
So they became very good devotees now. So what happened? His father, he was very old. So they became devotee maybe 30 years before. 30 years before, yeah, correct. 29, 30 years before. So his father was also like normal guy, and he was very old. So recently he passed away. But what I heard from people, when he was like on his last breath, he started chanting because of son, and during his last breath also he was saying Ram Ram. I mean the same mantra. He was asking for, where is my japa bag? Where is my japa bead? I want my japa bead, and he was continuously doing so. So that's I had never expected from that old person. I'm not talking about the young man,
Right.
the old person, because he was very old, and at that age it's difficult to change your
correct,
behavior or
correct,
something.
correct, yeah.
And he was like quite greedy. He was not bad person. He was greedy. That's it. Otherwise, he was nice person.
Yeah.
But when I heard that, if you become devotee, your family also have the ability to become devotee again.
Yeah.
So
Yes, very good. Yeah, very nice. Correct. As you're saying, to expect an old person, it's very difficult for them to change their thoughts and their behaviors and their beliefs. They're stuck in their own ways. But very nice. Thank you. Good example of a paradigm shift. Okay. So self-awareness also leads to changing how we view others, which is very important. Especially as a devotee, we have to be able to view others objectively, yes, but generally in a good light. We usually want to see everyone good. We don't want to see the bad in others. What is the point? Unless that's our job, or if you're a judge in a court case, that's a totally different case. But in general in life, we want to be able to see good in others. The natural tendency is to see bad in others. The natural tendency is to only find fault, right? Because in material world, we all want to go above others and try to feel better of ourselves by seeing bad in others, and then we feel better about ourselves, but that's not.
Okay.
So when we actually become more self-aware, then automatically we'll also be able to see the good in others and the right in others.
Good question, Prabhu. So
Yes.
how do I practice to be self-aware?
Yeah.
I mean, I have this habit.
Okay.
Like sometimes I do when I'm upset, like I take out all the faults of the person. But I have a husband who goes on the list of again the positivity of the other person because I go and complain to him. So then he tries to find all the good things about the
Correct.
person and trying to
Correct.
change my mind.
Yes.
But now you're talking about self-awareness, like what, like every day, like think, okay, if I'm upset with somebody,
Yeah.
like should I place myself in that person's position and see how would I behave?
Yes, actually, that was one of the stories I was going to tell after this. But since you brought it up, let me tell you the story now. Which was when, just imagine this scene. After the Mahabharata was over, the Pandavas and everything is finished and the Pandavas have finally won. But there's one very revengeful and vengeful person. Do you know who was left right at the end?
Ashwatthama.
Ashwatthama. Very evil. And he's so upset that they lost and everything. Everything's over, everything is settled. And finally what he does is, he goes and kills the sleeping sons of Draupadi. Murders all of them at night, which is considered the most worst. No Kshatriya would do that. So that's so dishonorable. In fact, it was the worst thing. And now Bhima catches him and throws him on the ground, and the Pandavas are standing, and Draupadi is there, and Krishna is there. And Bhima catches him, throws him, takes out his sword. And
Draupadi.
Arjuna has caught him and thrown him down, and Bhima says, kill him. Yudhishthira says, kill him. So, Yudhishthira is the decision maker, sorry. Bhima says, kill him. Krishna says, kill him. Arjuna is confused, still waiting for others' opinion. And guess what Draupadi says?
Don't kill him.
Yes. Now Draupadi stops them all. Ultimately, it's her. She is having the most pain. As a mother, to lose a child is a maximum pain. And all her children are murdered in their sleep by this fellow. And the only punishment, the right punishment, is kill him. And she starts speaking. Okay, since we're short of time, I'll just tell you. So Draupadi starts. First of all, she says, let's not forget this is the son of our Guru. Right? That's how first she starts. So she addresses, in fact, him. She doesn't address him as Ashwatthama. She says, Guru. I'm forgetting the Sanskrit. Oh, son of my Guru. She says. Then she talks a little bit about how in this world we all get our own karma. To kind of tell them that don't just think this person did this. Which, see, now we have to be a little balanced also. Objectively, we have the right to defend ourselves also. We can't be foolish, we can't be naive, we can't be, so bhola bhala, everyone takes advantage of you when you're saying everything is karma, this is no person. Not like that. Not in a foolish way, right? We can't be stupid, sorry to use that word. But we have to be intelligent. We are being devotee means we are very, but the inside heart we are describing of how Draupadi is thinking. And then she says, this is the son of our Guru. Ultimately what has to happen is happening through karma. This person is an instrument of karma. And finally she says, the only person I'm really thinking about is Kriti, Dronacharya's wife. The pain I have gone through losing children, I don't want her to suffer. Right? So just imagine in that situation, all of them were ready to kill him. And Krishna is also saying kill him. But finally Arjuna decides that, okay, now Draupadi is saying don't kill. Krishna and Bhima are saying kill. So then he says, okay, I dishonor him in such a way that it'll almost like death for a Kshatriya. So he takes off he had a natural gem, he takes it out with his sword, and then he lets him go. So you're right, in that sense, as you're saying, self-awareness would mean being able to, in that moment, objectively seeing the good and the bad. See, not focusing, we have to be very objective in that situation. We can't just focus on only one part of it. Nor do we want to be very naive and just focus on the good. Arjuna didn't say, oh, you are son of Guru, come live with us, eat with us. No, he had to give him the punishment. The only good part he saw was, okay, he also had a sense of gratitude. Okay, after all, he's the son of a Guru who gave us everything. Fine. So considering that your mother we don't want to pain, fine, we'll give you this kind of punishment. So if maybe that's balanced, that is one way, as you're saying, a very nice husband who's showing you, okay, this is the good side and this is the bad side. Now you take a mature decision, take a decision which is really in a objective light. That's what we are trying to get to. We don't want to take an emotional decision or a rash decision or a decision which will not please Krishna. In that situation, Krishna is saying kill him. So Arjuna had to make sure he's pleased. Krishna also is right there. And his wife also has a very valid point. So he takes that balance. Same in our life, every decision we want to please Krishna ultimately. The whole thing we are doing for is, how do I please Krishna? So how do I make sure, okay, I'm going to do this or do that, or this person did that to me. I have a right to weigh both things. This person did this, which was wrong. At the same time, okay, this may be the reason this person behaved like this. Okay, so how do I what should be my response, which is a balanced response. Is that helpful? What I
Yes,
said now?
just being balanced is hard.
True.
Yeah, that is practice
Yes.
for sure.
It is a matter of practice. And also maybe when we hear more of these kinds of stories and we think, okay, and try to put ourselves, these stories are also important because we have to put ourselves while reading these stories in that person's situation and go through it. It will really help us. to be able to, if you feel for Draupadi, feel her pain, and then still think that, oh, Draupadi actually thought like this, then it will help us also to. That's why the stories are in very detail. They're described how they're thinking, what happened, then how Draupadi thought. The whole Bhagavatam is taking us through these stories to allow us to put ourselves in each character's shoes and then go through that emotion and think, okay, still this person did like this, still this person thought like that. Wow. And that will help. It will build our muscles of internal mental strength and willpower, which it takes a lot to not react instantly, which is the easiest thing to do, just react instantly and give the most instinctive, grossest reply which comes. And maybe we can justify saying that's what the person, and maybe the whole world will support you also. Yes, you did the right thing. Okay. But if you really want to change and make a proper, as we say, swim upstream, swim against our natural, whatever we've always done and behaved and thought, and you want to really change it, then you'll have to do this kind of thing.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a few minutes more, and yeah, so we were saying, okay, let me tell you one other instance which is very instructive. Of course, these personalities are also very great personalities, and one may think, "Arey, wo to Draupadi thi, wo to ye tha," but we can't give an excuse and say, "Oh, I am just this, but that person is so great, why can't?" We have to try and follow. So another instance is also when, after the Mahabharata was over, Dhritarashtra was still alive, and the Pandavas first go and meet him. And the way Yudhishthira treats Dhritarashtra is very ideal. Actually, Dhritarashtra is the cause of the whole thing. He is the main cause. If he had just stopped Duryodhana, which he should have from the beginning, everyone told him just one thing: don't listen to your son. And he never did that. He was blind, physically and emotionally, and in every spirit he was blind. If one thing, so in a sense, Yudhishthira could have really blamed him for everything. Come and first told him, "You look at what happened because everyone's dead today." But the way Yudhishthira treated him with respect. And in fact, when Yudhishthira meets him, first when Yudhishthira meets him, he calls him, he says king. He addresses him as king, although he's no longer a king. He always gave him that respect. He always asked his advice, even throughout. So after the Mahabharata, if you see, there's a little gap between when Yudhishthira leaves again. So maybe a few months or years. It's not clear, but there is some good amount of time where the Pandavas are living with Yudhishthira, with Dhritarashtra. But they never once made him feel uncomfortable or, he absolutely felt at home. And he absolutely felt respected. He felt kind. Why? Because again, that was Yudhishthira's mindset and attitude towards Dhritarashtra. He never saw him, he always saw him as his father's brother, elder brother, only with that angle. He never got into that mood of, yet, so also, see, at the same time, Yudhishthira was also knowing that Dhritarashtra has this problem. So remember when this incident happens, when they come back, Dhritarashtra says, "Bhima, come here, I want to embrace you." But Krishna's wait. He's in a very bad state right now, and they give a statue to him and crushes that. It's so much anger he had because he's blind. He crushed the statue, and then everyone was like, and still they're living with him. He could also tomorrow have just murdered somebody or again gone crazy, but still they were living with him. Still they allowed him, right? So, of course, again balanced, but having this approach where Yudhishthira is still thinking good for Dhritarashtra, that what is best for him. And so after some time when Dhritarashtra leaves and goes to the jungle to do his tapasya and everything, at that time even Yudhishthira very lovingly inquires from Narad Muni, "How is my dear uncle? Is he doing okay? Where is he? What is he doing?" So again, this also teaches us that, I'm just reading some questions over here of how would we have thought of Dhritarashtra if after all this happens. We all have some people in our family who are like that, and we think of, like in my family also there's this one person, I know he's the cause of the biggest problems in the family. He'll do politics in the family, he'll do this and everyone knows it, but somehow I've also seen that my father was very kind to him, very tolerant, and we all tell him that you're entertaining him, just like cut him off. He's, he's family after all. We are there for him, although he's caused so much problem also. So same way, why this is important, especially for devotees, is how we treat others and how we look at others and the attitudes we have towards others actually will help us in our devotional life. That's why so much emphasis is given on not finding fault, seeing the good in others, treating others nicely, behaving with others well, even sometimes to a little discomfort also. Although we can justify our bad behavior towards someone, which is right, nobody will say, even if someone has done something bad to us, but as a Vaishnava, we are encouraged to try to behave very nicely with others, because actually that really helps. That's one of the most helpful things for us to cultivate our own bhakti and our own, create a fertile ground for bhakti to grow in our heart. Okay, I think maybe we should pause and we will continue these wonderful other things next time. Are there any questions or thoughts or comments?
You have 1 hour more though. Give it 8 o'clock.
Yeah, Krishna arranged perfectly. The count is exactly same. And the
No, I
man.
think there was some devotee by cell count.
Yeah, Sujit.
Yeah, Ankit. Then they
Oh.
come after 8:30.
No more pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask one last question. So what all can we consider? So two main things we have discussed today: self-awareness, and through that self-awareness, being able to behave in the best possible way with others, being able to see them in the best possible light, and being able to see them in the best possible way. Of course, I know at work and at other situations where one situation where you're dealing with devotees is little different, because both parties understand how we are supposed to behave, etc. But in circles where that's not a common understanding, for example at work everyone is there to get ahead and do politics, and nobody cares. Nobody is in work. Have you ever been taught, see the good in everybody, appreciate each other? Never. Work means the place where you've come to fight and get ahead and make most money and kill everybody else, and that's culture, corporate culture. In fact, that's encouraged. Passion, be like, your career is your life, your everything. So of course in that situation, so I'll tell you a little story. One day there was a Narad Muni, he had a snake disciple. A snake became his disciple. And now the snake, and before the snake used to bite everybody. Everybody was scared of the snake. But after he became Narad Muni's disciple, he also went through a workshop like this. And the snake realized that, so the snake also realized, oh, I have to be self-aware, I have to see the good in others. So he stopped biting. And now many months passed. One day Narad Muni again came back and he saw the snake is injured, fractured. He's wondering what happened to you. So the snake said, I attended this workshop, I stopped biting, I stopped hissing, everything. Now people saw, and slowly someone threw stone at me, I didn't do anything. Someone hit me with a stick, I didn't do anything because your workshop was so interesting. Now finally I've become like this. So Narad Muni realized, he said, he gave him one principle. He said, you should hiss but not bite. So he said, in self-defense, of course you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your life. Be intelligent. Don't be, you're not being foolish. So same way at work and situations, you have to be, of course, intelligent. You can't be taken advantage of. At the same time, for a devotee, no matter where we are, we have to cultivate the heart of a Vaishnava. Even at work, we have to be Vaishnavas at heart, knowing that everyone around me is ultimately a part and parcel of Krishna. Ultimately, they're all spirit souls. Ultimately, everyone has all the good qualities. It's just that some material conditioning, some whatever everyone has gone through in this life and many lives has brought this person to this situation. And maybe there are so many, and it's also said we should hear the story behind the story. Whenever someone is interacting with you or talking to you, you should know that there's something which has happened which has led this person to behave like this with me. Especially in negative behaviors, you should immediately see it as, what has this person been through or gone? What does this person really need? Ultimately, everyone's heart is empty and dry, and that's why all negative behaviors especially come out in people, because they're longing for something which they're not able to find. And we know as devotees that this is the answer for everything. Unfortunately, people don't know, and therefore to recognize that behavior, to recognize, okay, this is what this person is going through, and of course take a balanced response, but yeah, just to. So these are the two things we discussed. So coming back to my question, what is the way in which, what all thoughts will help us become more self-aware and relate to and behave in a Vaishnava way with every living being? Till you all think of your answer, I'll tell you one more little incident. Because I said every living being. One day Prabhupada was walking with his disciples and they had gone to a zoo place like that. Because they were just walking through, and there was a lion in the cage, and the disciples were going, and usually when we go to a zoo and the animal is sleeping, it's not interesting. You want the animal to do something, right? When we've gone to a zoo. So one disciple took a stick and started poking the lion. And Prabhupada said, no, can't do that. He's the king of the jungle. So Prabhupada recognized, like, he was respecting that living entity's position, saying that now he's in a cage. If he was not in the cage, nobody would have gone. But still, so that kind of outlook towards every living being is ultimately a part and parcel of Krishna. No living being we can have a right to take advantage of. Okay, so please tell, what would you do, or what tips do you have to help us be more self-aware and be more better in our dealings with others?
Recently, we gave a test on 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So 7th and 6th, both the chapter, the summary I can say. Here people are, trying to control their emotions, trying to control their senses. Basically, whatever is happening because of our outburst. Mostly, for me, it's anger. So it just only on family members. So it just outburst because I cannot control my emotions or my senses, I can say. So if I keep on, trying to control it, it's impossible. It's difficult. It's very difficult. It's not impossible. It's very difficult. We learn many ways, do this, do that, but it's really difficult. Because now I'm, 35, but I'm still not able to control it. So the summary of that chapter was, if you surrender yourself, if you take the shelter of Krishna, then he will make it possible for you to control it.
Very nice. Okay.
So taking shelter, so I would like to give one example. Earlier I used to eat onion garlic, but when I started coming here and I came to know, like, we should offer everything to Krishna and then consume it. So you cannot offer the food which is made up of onion garlic. So I feel guilt if I can't offer him and eat. So I used to prepare the food which is without onion garlic, sattvic. So slowly, gradually, we stopped onion garlic. And right now, we don't eat outside. Because in outside you won't get it. Also, those are not prasada. Yeah, we have it sometimes. It's not like but it's very rare now. It's even I went to India earlier. I used to have street food, but in India I didn't feel to have food from outside. There was no craving at all. So that's how I controlled my one sense, that is tongue. So similarly, if we even after coming from India also, I was very quiet. I used to keep my senses were really controlled. Maybe my senses are after it's again booming up. But yeah, maybe because there when I used to visit temples, my we visited many temples from Chennai, Kanchipuram, from in many temples in Odisha. So that makes us humble. When you meet people, when you meet devotee, and those are like, you know, the hardcore devotees. They are, you know, living on street. You know, they are sannyasis.
Yeah.
When you talk to them, when you talk to locals, that makes you humble. So that's my, even also in Mumbai also I visited many temples. So my experience were not good in Mumbai's temple because mostly are commercialized now. So when we think like why they are, you know, behaving with us, we are also devotee. Then I came across videos, that is the part where I was living in India only. I came across some, you know, lectures of some Maharaj. So they were like, why you expect, even if you are devotee, why you expect that other person should respect you? Because we think like, yeah, we are too much, you know, I am doing this, I am doing that. So those people, whether they know me or not, if they are seeing me, you know, wearing kanthi mala or saying Hare Krishna, they should respect me. But that's not the case. Why they will respect me? If I'm expecting, then I'm going to, you know, get sad about the stuff. So the one thing is, you know, take the shelter of him. He will control everything, and also don't expect from anything, from anyone. Like,
very nice point, as you said. Without we controlling ourselves is very difficult. When you take shelter and Krishna's grace comes into our life, then he can control everything. Yeah, very nice. And as you described, all these are steps of our surrender to Krishna's, changes in our lifestyle, changes in our whatever little things we can do, and then Krishna will really help us. Thank you. Yes.
So, Mataji mentioned like surrender. So I started right before the ISKCON and all. I started when I was in 12th standard. So I used to listen to the sound surrounding. So listening. So my observation is either you can listen or you can talk to yourself. So I started listening the voices, the bird voice, the AC voice and all. So that time I stopped talking to me. Sometimes I listen, I'm giving instruction, oh focus, focus. So that is also talk. So I started be aware like whether it is the instruction or actual thought. So that is one thing. Then I started being worried that can I continue it for a long time. Then I started counting numbers. So I could able to count 1,000 also. That means I can keep my concentration on whatever. Maybe it is not 100% intense, but I can keep it for longer time. So listening is the key. Then second is the counting or something to give me assurance that I can continue my concentration, focus. Then I started observing. That observation is important. That controlling is not the way. Monitoring and observing is the way. Don't disturb. Like you're watching a TV. So as Mataji mentioned, right, self-aware, you have to just watch. You don't detach. That is the Bhagavad Gita thing, that detachment. Like it's not me, it's a TV. Just watch all the thoughts and just observe the gap between the words, like the silence. Then I started chanting and all. So because of chanting, I was focusing on those names only. So I stopped wondering my thoughts. All the emotions are subdued kind of thing. Then again self-awareness increased because of chanting. So less emotions, less wondering of your thoughts. No, what you call like jealousy or competition or the corporate world. That is what the my problem is that once you come out of office, you have to stop. Yeah, you have to practice. So yeah, so listening was the key, and then chanting is the easiest thing. That's what I would say.
Yes. Thank you. That's a brilliant point. Japa practice is the main sadhana practice of our devotional lives, and that is doing that even on a material level, even if we don't consider spiritual benefits of japa. As you're saying, even today everyone says mindfulness, meditation, and japa is the best way to control and solidify and keep our minds. Okay, thank you very much.
And japa is a gauge also. If you
Uh-huh.
can't do, that means your
Something.
whole senses are going.
Correct. Japa is a god, yes, as a statement. Japa is the barometer of our spiritual life.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if Prabhupada says it, but I've read it many places. That how good our japa is, that's the barometer. Barometer is the airplane, they have the meter which tells you the height of it. Yeah.
And one more thing, what Mataji says, right? I mean, everyone has their aura. So if you are with the right people, you get that kind of energy. If you are with the wrong people, then that kind of energy.
Yes.
So even
Yes.
few people, right, don't take the food also. If someone is offering,
Yeah.
they don't take because they
Correct.
have that kind
Correct.
of sensitive
Yeah.
observation.
Yeah.
They know that what thoughts are coming.
Yeah.
So that also matters. So suppose I am saying that, right, my senses are this, that means I am with the wrong people. I mean, not wrong people, but somehow I connected with that kind of energy.
Correct.
So that much observation even I don't have because of the daily busy life. But yeah.
Alright, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki
Jai.
Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki
Jai.
Shri Nitai Gaurachandra ki
Jai.